Well, welcome everybody. It's great to have you on here. Many of us were in eXp in Miami, Florida, and have a few things to share after Sean shares. And just so many great things happening. We got a person started yesterday who was actually uh, Ames got him started, and he is a coach for basketball. And the reason he got started was that we opened up the new sports and entertainment division, and he knows a lot of professional athletes, and he doesn't quite have his license yet. And so we set him up on a placeholder agreement, and he has several people that are interested. They will probably get started before he does. He's going to go and get a license in Nevada or Michigan, whichever is quicker, and it's going to be just focused on agent attraction, maybe a few transactions, and then another one today, Christopher. In fact, she is on here. Arisha, congratulations, welcome to the team, and she just got started tonight. And so a lot of great momentum is going, and this is a great time to be in this business. I mean, several people mentioned during the eXp that this is a attraction season. Attraction season usually starts October 1st. And of course, this particular inner circle is really focused around agent attraction, but attraction through production is really good too, because I kind of envy you that are totally in production, because if you're doing 10, 15, 20, 30 transactions a year, you got 30 agents you're talking to. So it's a really good thing. And so we want to do both. And we call it making your living while you create your lifestyle. That's the beauty about eXp, to be able to do that. And we have one of the best people that I know who has actually done that in a big way, personally sponsored by Rob Flick. And the story of it, I spent time with Rob actually at our inner circle this last in Scottsdale. I picked him up from the airport, and we had a great conversation. We have a lot of common interests and a lot of common background and people we know, which I did not know before. But we have the privilege of hearing from Sean Sturrock, is in Dallas, Fort Worth area, and a business builder with eXp, known for helping agents really scale production and create multiple streams of income. Since joining eXp in 2017, he reports year over year income gains and has helped build the Freedom Team. I love that name, the Freedom Team. And fast growing organization. The Freedom Team is over 2,500 agents, so that's pretty impressive. His agents are represented from 47 different states and 7 countries, and that may be an older figure. What sets him apart is a collaboration on more intimate level. And while ranking among eXp's top income earners, a husband, father, and God first entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Yep, absolutely. God first entrepreneur. And Sean shares practical lead gen and wealth building playbooks across Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, where he mentors agents on a plug and play funnels, collaboration, and leverage growth. And Sean, thank you very much for investing your time with us tonight. And I'm just going to turn it over to you and appreciate you very much.
You're
So
very, very
welcome,
welcome.
Sean. Right.
Honored to be here. There you
Yeah.
go. Like this shirt then, my friend. Can you read
Yes,
it?
armor of God.
Yeah.
Amen.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Come on, come on. So, first of all, thank you for having me on. I happen to have your big leader on. I don't know if it's been 4, 6 weeks ago. I don't know what it is, Clark, but it wasn't too long, too far back. He came on to my show. So, thank you so much, Clark, for coming on
You bet.
and appreciate the invite. So, you want me to just kind of start off maybe with my story because it's a
Yeah,
a bit
go
unique.
for it. Yes.
Um, I guess to kind of put this into a training point at the same time, I always say, if someone is already in production, you've been in real estate for a while, now you want to start doing attraction, there's got to be a reason why. There's got to be a strong why, right? Because you're already busy. I know it. Every agent I talk to is 50, 60, 70-hour work weeks. But I always like to start off and tell people if you can just set aside 15 to 30 minutes a day to begin reaching out to agents, that's just the way to start, right? So if you're working a 10-hour day, if you can't take 15 to 30 minutes and block off that time, then we need to relook at your schedule. It's a little bit too tight. Anyway, let me go back to my story. Um, for this all to make sense and what my why was, about 10 months prior to me getting my license, Me and about a half a dozen of my friends. One was a doctor, two are chiropractors, one was a business owner, and the other two guys were just sharp, savvy folks. And I say that for the reason I would have never done what I'm about to tell you if these six had not done it also. But what it was is I had a friend of mine running an oil and gas company. And if you've ever done anything with a well deal, some people talk about four, five, six wells together. You find areas where they're hitting and you invest some money hoping to get a nice return. Well, the guy who was running the company was a good friend of mine, had been in the oil and gas business for 30 years. And I watched him when he came to us and guys, I've never seen anything like this. And I watched him put $250,000 in. And then all of us just grabbed big chunks of money. I took my 401k, I dumped it into this opportunity. We were talking about making about three times our money in 4 to 6 months. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't tell my mom and dad. I was going to surprise my wife, take her on a 2 week European vacation after this thing hit. Well, lo and behold, we put our money in, and about 45 days later, the oil and gas industry tanked, and I lost everything. 35 years of building up a 401k in three different businesses. So I had a huge why. I'm 59 today. At 51 is when that happened, and I lost everything. So I'm starting over. I'm married. I've got two kids. I can just tell you this. I was in the feeble position, tears in my eyes going, what have I done? And when I told my parents and wife, that wasn't a comfortable situation when that all went down. But we survived. And now it's, you can look back and go, okay, it's was somewhat of a blessing because I don't think I'd have ever done this if it wasn't for that. And this has changed my entire life. So I say that to go about 8 or 9 months went by. I was doing little odds and ends. I was trying not to go back into corporate America. I did not want to do that. And my wife and I are huge believers. We were praying every day. And then all of a sudden, Rob Flick calls me. Nothing about real estate. He was coming into town from Arizona. He was coming into Dallas, asked if we wanted to grab dinner. We have dinner that night. We start chit chatting. He starts giving me a stock tip. I've been playing around the stock market and crypto market for a decade, and he's giving me this stock tip. And I continue to ask questions and realize it's eXp. I don't know what that is. I continue to ask more, find out it's a brokerage, ask more questions, find out he came out of retirement. He had been in for about 12 to 13 months at that point in time. And when I found out was in, I'm like, Rob, I thought you were retired. Like 10 years ago, he's like, Sean, I'm telling you, what I've seen, this is going to change the landscape of real estate forever. I looked at him. He had no idea I was getting my real estate license. I looked at him and I said, Rob, I'm getting my real estate license in 3 weeks. I take my test. He's like, what? He goes, have you seen eXp? I was like, no, I've never heard of it. And prior to the dinner, before he came over, he asked, would he have about 45 minutes? Did I have an office he could step into? He needed to do a presentation. I didn't ask any further. I said, absolutely. Well, it was that same night. I asked the questions, find out it's eXp, tell him I'm getting my license. Well, he was doing an eXp presentation at that time. So he said, well, dude, why don't you step into the office, watch what we're doing? So I kind of set off to the side of Rob, and I think there was about 35 people on. This was literally about 9.5 years ago. So there wasn't but maybe 2,500 agents in the company. Anyway, guys, I sit back off to the side. I watch this presentation, and for it to make sense to you, I had been in the world, I'd been in corporate America for about 30 years, but I'd been playing around in the direct sales market for about 12 years in a company called World Ventures, and I'd done very well in that. I busted my butt, don't get me wrong, for 10 years, had no life. I worked evenings, weekends, all that. So I was used to reaching out to people and attracting and recruiting. So when I watched him give the presentation, I saw the rev share. Guys, I'm not kidding. I began to tremble. Remember, I had lost everything, and I'm looking at going, oh my gosh, God, is this what you're putting in my lap? And it got done. And I mean, I didn't sleep that night. I told my wife about it. We were just giddy on what the possibility was. I went and got my license 3 weeks later, and boom, I hit the ground running. And I'll tell you that very first year, um, kind of like Clarke, with no production experience, I'd never done anything in real estate, had never sold any houses, but all I did was follow Rob Flick and Gene Frederick. They gave me a script, and I just pretty much followed the script. But here was my big challenge. At first, I was like, okay, where am I going to get all these names from? Am I just going to start going on to the MLS and pulling up names or just Googling agents? What am I going to do? Well, I went through all my social media first, and I found 12 agents that I knew in some type of friendship. Some was back 15 years ago, like in school. Some was at a previous job. Some I was still in conversation with, but there was 12 of them. Reached out to all 12 like in the first week and a half, and very fortunate and blessed within 5 to 6 months, 10 of those 12 came on. Of those 10, I found three that wanted to do what I was doing. as in really starting to get after it. So I ended up sponsoring 16 agents the first year. That grew to 400 because I found three other racehorses that wanted it just like I did, right? We never know who that's going to be. You
Right.
know most of them, right? Eric Golden, Jeff Morrell, Jay Nelson. Those are my three biggest racehorses that got in. So my life changed in 1 year. I hit right under 20,000 a month. Guys, I was back at the old teary-eyed thing again, going, oh my gosh, more money than I'd made after building my direct sales business for 12 years. I was making now more money than that in 1 year. So I had fallen in love with this and realized what it could do to bless agents' lives. And so that's how it all started. Then as I began to build over the next second year, there was agents that I in my group that I started to talk to almost on a daily basis. Well, about 2.5, 3 years in, and you guys know this, Clarke, you've been on board again. How long, my friend?
Uh, three years yesterday.
Oh gosh. Okay, that's amazing, dude. What you've done in 3 years. So go back 8.5 years, 3 years into it, groups were starting to pop up, right? The different groups that you guys are aware of, the biggest groups in the company. And I had lost about three or four agents to some of those groups, and a couple of my agents had as well. So a few of us came together, we're like, okay, guys, we got to create something. And that's how the Freedom Team was born. It started with four other agents with me. All of them had 20 plus years experience. I was the newbie. Tell me, this is how incredibly blessed we are when you build RevShare. I always say this, even from the direct sales company. You can recruit what you're not, right? I'm not the most detail oriented, organized person in the world. I feel like I'm compassionate, but I'm not compassionate compared to some people. So you get all these different personalities. I was able to bring them in. Well, these other four agents I was teaming up with, they were all veteran agents that had all at one point in time been icon caliber agents hitting that 10, 15, 20 million. So I say that to go, we came together. Thank God I had those kind of people. They began to help implement the systems. Fast forward to today, we've added two more people. There's seven of us now running the Freedom Team, and it's been amazing, Clarke and you guys, at what that has done to attract agents. Because being that I don't sell houses, what can I do? Everything is about my Freedom Team, my group, my leaders. Everything is about me always edifying everybody else but me. That's all about the Freedom Team. We bring them in. I put them on three-way calls with 10, 15, 20-year veterans. So I say that to go in case any of you are here and maybe haven't sold houses, and or maybe you're just not a huge real estate agent on the real estate side, but you're trying to do attraction. Just like Clarke and myself, you do not have to have sold houses to attract. Here's another way I want to put that before I get into more details. When I'm talking to an agent, I want to say, I'm not exaggerating, maybe three times out of 1,000 calls, in that initial call, has anybody ever asked me about me? So, how many houses you sold? So, where were you at before eXp? None of that stuff ever comes up. Why? I'm the one asking questions. If a recruiter called you, would you start asking the recruiter everything about their background? So, I want you to get clear with that because I have a lot of new agents. Clarke, did Britt set you and I up on a call when you first came in?
I don't think it was actually Don, my business partner, and I got on a call with you, a couple years ago.
Okay, because
And
Britt
but
was,
then we were already involved. Actually,
Dobrze,
Steve
później mi
Hillier,
opowiesz resztę.
yeah, Steve Hillier, who is on this call,
yeah, I've interviewed
sat
Steve
down with me
brother.
and Don Peach, my business partner, and then I had coffee with Brent like a few days later.
Okay, okay. Because he had set me up on several calls in the very beginning.
Yeah,
Because once people found out I'd never sold houses, when somebody would join that hadn't sold a house, they're like, "Well, I really want to kind of get my feet wet, sell some homes first." They'd be like, "Listen, you got to talk to this guy, Sturrock," and that's kind of how the beginning sort of started. So I thought it was kind of funny. But now there's multiple people like myself that have come on board. Now, obviously, everybody I attract, I'm not. I think I have one agent that I've ever brought on that all he does is attraction. And now Eric Golden, and now that he got married, his wife's selling down in
yeah.
Florida and stuff. They were down there in Miami. But anyway, I saw that to go. That's kind of how everything got started for me. I had a very strong why. So when I first started, I was putting in, probably being just very upfront with you, 2.5 hours a day, I was making phone calls. So the question now comes down to, well, if I didn't know any agents, who was I calling? So after my first 12 agents that I knew, I began to sit there and go, God, what am I going to do? Am I going to start going to networking events, get online? I thought, wait a second. I picked up my phone. I'm like, wait, I got a couple thousand names in my phone, especially from my background in direct sales. And I started thinking almost everybody in my phone was 40 and up. right? I'm thinking, okay, they've all probably bought a house. That means they know an agent. I went, wait a second. What if I just started asking everybody who they knew that was an agent? So, guys, I started after month one sending 20 texts a day, starting with my A's. Every day I'd send out 20 texts. It'd say something to the effect of, hey, Clarke, hope you and the family are doing well. Hope you guys are blessed. Hey, got my real estate license recently. I'm working on a big project, looking for an agent in your area I might be able to team up with. Think about that verbiage. When I say that, they're probably thinking, okay, he's probably got a real estate deal. He's wanting to do a co-sponsor or something with another agent up there. And obviously I was calling about attraction, but they didn't know that. So I would generally, if I sent out 20 texts, I'd get 10 to 15, sometimes as many as 20 names in about 24 hours. Well, guys, I went through my database. I had like 1,000+ names within the first 75 days. So I had all the names in the world, and now it was a warm phone call, right? So just give an example. Jennifer, if Clarke gave me your name and Clarke wasn't an agent, I mean, he and I were buddies, then I might just give you a call, Jennifer, to be something like, I hadn't done it in a while, but it'd be simple as, hey, Jennifer, hey, this is Sean Sturrock, real estate agent back here in Dallas. I was just talking to a mutual friend of ours, Clarke Broom, and I was asking Clarke, man, who did he know in his area that was a really good agent? He brought your name up, Jennifer. First of all, that is awesome. If you don't mind me asking, Jennifer, how again do you know Clarke? And that would always just at least turn it into a semi-warm call. But here's where it became fun. If immediately Jennifer went, oh my God, I love Clarke, man. He and I went to school together. He is the greatest guy in the world. Or it's like, man, I love his wife, Diane. Whatever it is, I would know immediately if they gave that kind of enthusiasm, appointment was set before I ever asked, right? Versus every once in a while I'd get somebody going, Jennifer would be like, Clarke who? And I'd be like, Clarke Broom.
Mhm.
Yeah, he said he sold you a house a few years ago. You know what? I think I remember Clarke. Well, what can I do for you? A totally different call, right? So I say that to go, if you decide to do that for attraction, every one of you got names in your phone. If you haven't done that, what a great way to have a warm call, right? You just drop that other person's name. What is their relationship? And if it's a good relationship, appointment is probably set, right? Jennifer doesn't want to get Clarke upset if they're really good friends. So she's probably going to set the meeting. So anyway, that might be a good way for some of you to reach out. Obviously, before we get into some of the scripts and the things that I do, what do I still train and teach on? Call the people you know with relationships first. Call the people you've been in a transaction with. I mean, you guys, I'm sure, have had multiple people on here that sit and talk about that. And I find myself, Clarke, continuing to tweak the way I approach. Like, matter of fact, the last 2 days, I've kind of tweaked my script. I'm now going, well, I'm calling. I talked for just a couple minutes and I'm looking to see if they'd be open to building a relationship. I'm always looking for good veteran agents that we can, you know, trade ideas back and forth. We do masterminds together. So I set up 3 appointments in the last 2 days with just people that I've got a 15-minute call with. So they know I'm with the XP, but they didn't say anything about, or is this a recruiting call? I simply called them because I use what's called courted.io. Are you guys all familiar with that, Clarke? Do you use it?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so if you don't have to use any system. Let me first just say that I spent the first several years, you can grab, and you guys probably all know this is a rev share call. You can go put in any agent's name, realtor, and state, and it pulls them right up. Usually you get 6, 7, 8 different hits from their social media and stuff. There's generally one that says Zillow. If you click on it, you generally can see their production in the last year. Courted.io allows you to go back 3 years, see all the different brokerages they at, see the number of production, rental properties, how many houses they sold, volume, all of that right there at your fingertips. So it makes for a very interesting call. If I see people's production's been going down, I can kind of call them out on it in a positive way. Hey, well, one of the reasons I'm reaching out to you, I just noticed it looks like your production's down about 40% from last year. I mean, I know it's been a really, a tough market for a lot of us, but what do you think's really contributed to that outside of the market? It can just lead into a conversation if I know their numbers, right? So that's the reason I love the Corded.io. I can just look back now 3 years. So anyway, that's how things got started with me. Over the last 8 years of me doing this, I have used two different services that made calls for me for a while. I was trying that, but that got a little bit expensive. And I wasn't really getting much more traction than I was if I made the calls. And there was something about me making that initial call, I think, that allowed me to have at least a little bit of a rapport before we had the second call. And so I've been back to making my own calls now for probably the last 12 months. And it's being just very transparent with you guys. It's not every single day. Now, coming back from this event We all kind of set new goals, kind
Oh
of
yeah.
push our.
Mm.
So now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this darn thing an hour and a half a day. I know if I make calls for an hour and a half a day, 90% of the time I'll set up at least two Zooms, sometimes three, right? Every once in a while I'll make calls and you get like 11, 12 voicemails in a row. Then all of a sudden I connect with five people, set up three Zooms. So it's just a matter of, we always joke around about the 800-pound gorilla. It's still hard for me, 8.5 years in, to pick this thing up and make a call. I'll be very honest with you, it is. Now, if I start calling and I have a few conversations, it gets lighter, right? It just, and especially when, I mean, literally to this day, I'm not exaggerating again. I can count on one hand 5 times that somebody's been rude to me, like literally rude, 5 times out of 1,000 calls. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Most people are like, look, Sean, I'm just not interested. If you're trying to call about a recruiting call, they're talkative, but they're not just like, oh my gosh, stop, click, even though they've been called sometimes by three, four, five EXP agents. So set that aside. Look at it as in you're blessing them for the sake of just reaching out to them should be an honor to them. If someone calls me, which I'm called about every month, trying to recruit me either into another brokerage or into a direct sales company, because I take as a compliment, as an honor, right? That somebody's calling me. Now, I may be short and brief with them, maybe if I'm not interested, but I'm never rude. I'll say, I appreciate the call. And I'll always say to everybody, I'm open to look at an opportunity. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have been here. If I wouldn't have been open to take a look at what Rob was sharing with me. So I always tell everybody, the same thing if I'm talking to someone. So listen, if someone calls me about an opportunity as a friend of mine, I'll take a look. Don't mean I'm going to do anything, but I'll take a look and give them some feedback. I just got a call yesterday, Clarke, from another travel company that spun off from World Ventures. A bunch of the old
Oh yeah.
folks jumped in. I had one of the, I love how this whole business works because once you've done it for a while, the guy who called me was in my organization and my other direct sales company, but he got somebody who was a big, big dog on the call the moment he called me. You may know him, Byron Shrug. Does that ring a bell?
Name is familiar. Yeah.
He's kind of like Brent Gove, but he was a huge, huge up and Amway and then several company way. Just a real laid back, extremely intelligent guy, but he got on the phone with me. It was just yesterday, and I haven't even looked. They sent me over a couple links. I said I'll take a look. But anyway, I just tell you guys that as in if I'm open-minded to take a look, I just assume that other people would be open-minded to take a look,
Sure.
especially if their production is going down. So you started off, Clarke, talking about we're in recruiting season. We are. Usually the fourth quarter has been my biggest quarter every single year I've been here. I think it's been one time that it wasn't. And that's right. I think most people toward the end of the year are just thinking, you know what, if I'm going to make a move, boy, I'd love to start on a clean slate come January 1st. And I think that's why a lot of people, I've got three or four in the hopper. I just brought on a lady this morning. Maria just joined me, and I've been talking to Maria. Let's get this out also. 2 years. Met her for lunch in Houston. Maria Galato, she's been an agent for 15 years. She's originally from Greece. They got a property back there. So I went the Greece angle with her, got her on the broker with Greece, the Greece broker down there because she wants to eventually go back to Greece for 6 months, US for 6 months, and work both of them. So she just finally joined me today, but what moved her over the hump was funnels. I'm not here to necessarily promote and stuff, but Clarke, is anybody in your group, are you guys doing some funnels as well for production?
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing it with Jay Kinder.
Okay, okay, same here. Guys, that has made a pretty tremendous difference for me when I'm making phone calls. Because if I get in the midst of someone who's open to talk with me and their production's down, and I'm asking them different reasons why, what do you see doing different this year to get your production back where it was? And if they're usually saying, I just need more quality leads, that kind of leads into me talking about funnels. And what I found myself doing, I'm sure you've got them, Clarke. I've got all the different testimonies that they've given us. Well, I've got them all on my phone in my notes area. So sometimes in the midst of a call, I'll say, listen, I say, I'm sure you've heard of all different kinds of ways to generate leads. And my group and I now have 11 different ways, but there's one that is just excelling in a huge way here this last year, and it's called funnels. I always ask, are you very familiar with funnels and how that can help bring buyers and sellers to you instead of you chasing them down? And you get mixed signals when you talk to agents. And I'll say, do you got 2 minutes right now while I'm on my first cold call? I said, you got 2 minutes real quick? Well, yeah, because I'd already asked for 3 minutes up front. I said, I just shot you over a text message. If you don't mind, I'll hang right here. Can you watch that video? This is a handful of the agents that we have partnered up with and the success they're having from using these funnels. And I've had them watch that testimony reel right there on the phone with me and come back and go, so how exactly does it work? I set up the Zoom. I send over somebody in my group who's doing the funnels. I'll send over their 25-minute webinar, have them watch it. Then when I get on back with them, now it's a whole nother dialogue. It's not necessarily EXP, it's I'm here to help them. And if you guys are familiar with, if they stay where they're at, they can use them, but they have to pay for it. If they come over here, they get them for free. So that's how I brought in four of my last five agents because they want the funnels. That's so I'm saying that to you in quotes, going that here's what I'm doing. If everybody on here is not using funnels, let me tell you what's happened to me. I started using them, Clarke, about 7, 8 months ago. There's about 10 of us in my freedom team that are doing it for attraction. So we're paying the money to use for attraction. Well, I was doing that. I'm about 2 months in, just starting to get my webinars going. Facebook account is hacked. I'm sitting
Oh,
on my
no.
couch about 4 months ago on a Thursday, and I'll never forget getting ready to watch a football game. And all of a sudden, my phone's blowing up. And I got stuff people going, I ordered a gray pair, not a black pair. I ordered three pair, only got two. And I'm like, what is going on? And I start to look around. I thought, it's nothing to do with my ad, is it? I go open up my Facebook account. Right below my three ads were two pair of feet with sandals on them. And somebody had hacked my account. By the time I was trying to stop everything, clean up, bloom, Facebook went black on me, reached out. I've tried everything in the world to get back in. They won't allow me. I've tried a different IP address. I say all that to go, what I'm doing today, I'm either co-sponsoring or I'm FLQA sponsor, right? Like Jeff Morrell is one of my guys. I sponsored him, but I've now done three with Jeff Morrell where I do an FLQA. I need the FLQA and I'll give him the money. And I use his webinar to promote the event. He's my business partner. We're doing it together. You guys follow me? So you should be able to
Sure.
team up with anybody in your group. If you can't co-sponsor with them, you can FLQA sponsor. Doesn't matter if they're in your upline or downline. So anyway, I thought I'd plant that seed because that's what I'm kind of doing today. So let me just sort of stop there. I've got all kinds of stuff off to my right, different scripts, different things, but where would you like me to go from here, Clarke, or anybody that has questions?
Well, number one, does anybody have any questions for Sean? Well, I think at this point, Sean, just really go into some of your success that you've had with the scripts and maybe a little bit some of your scripts. And
Okay.
I know I've been using the funnel pilot a little bit. And, in fact, I was just on a call with Jay and, Harley, one of Jay's key people. And and in fact, Randy Bird was on there. He just started 30 days. He got over 111 leads at the cost of about $2 a lead.
And what is it though? What system are you talking about?
It's called Funnel Pilot.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah,
Funnel.
you might connect with Jay Kinder or after this call we can get on the phone together too.
Okay.
Um, I,
I'll,
I know
I'll,
that.
I'm assuming when they have the call with Michael Reese and those guys, so my group may know about it.
Yeah,
Got
they that the same concept. I know Michael does it a little bit differently. We're on with Jay and Albie. So
it.
Albie is right in with Jay and they have the funnel pilot called Accelerate. It's called the
Okay.
Accelerate program. It's really geared for agent attraction.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you. No, I'll check that out.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's co-sponsoring with Jay. So the whole value proposition was able to leverage his implementation and management team or marketing team, and we just co-sponsor with Jay. We get the FLQAs, and Jay takes it over from there, and it's been really successful.
wow. I will definitely check it out. Thank you. Thank you. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm going to pull this over here. So, eh, first of all, I'm sure you guys all have this. I use my notes for, oh my gosh, it's crazy how many different things I have on my notes, much less
Yeah.
all my bookmarks and stuff. But so I'm always playing around with the script. Like last week, I focused and called nothing but KW agents. The week before that, I called nothing but Remax agents so that I can kind of get into a groove, right? If I'm going to continue to call them, might as well keep it like that. So this week, I kind of left it open and I did that search where you look for those that are most likely to move. And that's how I started calling. But I was changing things up. And even though I've got a script in front of me, very seldom now that I've done it so much do I stick to a script.
Right.
Eventually, the moment they ask me a question, whatever, we start going different angles. But the script to me just at least lets me go back to either a question or a phrase or something that I want to try to add in somewhere in the midst of that call. So this here's an old one that I was using right here, and I just kind of switched it up again. But I've taken some of this stuff from when you said Randy Bird, I always bring up Eric Orland as well.
Right.
So I've had
Eric.
Eric
Yep.
Orland on, I've had Randy Bird on. Well, if you guys have ever heard Eric Orland give his uh, uh, go through his presentation, he's always using this one right here, right?
Yep.
But he starts off with asking them questions, but generally gets to it within about 2 to 3 minutes. His open-ended question, right? You guys have all, I've assumed, seen this, right? So, hey, Clarke, may I ask you a question? I'm not sure if this is for you, but would you be open-minded to exploring a brokerage platform if it could allow you to keep more of your hard-earned commissions and also provide you with buyer and seller leads? Clarke, it may also align with your long-term real estate direction by offering multiple streams of income, one of which happens to be passive. Is this something you might find compelling? Would you simply be open to exploring together? That is what Eric Orland uses. And if have you had him on before?
I have not. I've been on
Okay.
several of his, but I have not.
So, guys, he has been here under 6 years. I want to say 5.5 to 6. He's got almost 3,000 agents. And
Yep.
this is his opening phrase. He's never gotten away from it. So, why I keep switching to different stuff, I don't know. Sometimes I just want to vary it up because I just don't want to sound real robotic to myself. But anyway, I've used that multiple times. It works. But a lot of times I find myself just going through and I'll say something about my organization and I'll tell everybody. You say, look, I'm part of an organization. You guys can use the organization you're part of, right? I'm part of an organization. We help run whatever it is, how many agents you got, and so forth. So don't be afraid to use what you guys have right now because I interviewed Clarke just a month ago. You guys got a good thing going on and it's starting to rock. It sounds like some momentum's picking up. So, all different kinds of scripts that I have. Here's something else I just pulled together. So, I've got a call tomorrow. I got a 3:15 call and then I got one Thursday, one Friday from my set up my 15-minute call. So when I get on my 15-minute call, obviously I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions about them, how long about in real estate, what got them in, what's it been like, how they've been doing the last year or two, all kinds of questions, getting to know them, their family, and so forth. Then I'm going to say, hopefully around about 10 minutes in, because it's going to be a 15-minute call, I'll say, look, one of the things, Clarke, that I've learned being in real estate now about 8.5 years is there's really 7 different things we need as real estate agents at any given time. I'm going to list, they're not looking at this, I'm just talking to them. And I rattle off these 7, and then I got this from another agent that I interviewed, and I went, "Wow, this is pretty darn interesting." The way that it allows you to open up and find out what their pain points are, but at the same time, I think it's a nice, savvy way to approach them where it's not threatening. So I'll mention these 7, and if they say anything about support, I say support is different than training, coaching, and mentoring. Support is, did I cross my T's, dot my I's, that kind of thing. But then he went down here. When I first started, I kind of added in mine now. When I first started real estate about 8.5 years ago, I was all about support and leads. But now, after 8.5 years, what I care about is opportunity and culture. So, out of those 7 that I just gave you, what would you say the top 2 for you are? It'd be a great way for me to figure out what's their pain point and what can I start to then zone in on the next 5 minutes. And I'm going to go from there to scheduling a Zoom or a 3-way call or 3-way Zoom with somebody else who maybe has a background or, according to what they told me here, maybe whether I bring another person on or I just go to a Zoom. And if I set up the Zoom prior to the Zoom, though, I'm also going to ask them to watch the 12 to 13-minute video that they have on Attractify. You guys have all seen the 9-minute went to the 12 and a half,
Right.
13 minute. So anyway, this is all kind of new. So even though I've done this for 8.5 years, I'm always kind of sampling different things, right? One, again, just for me to be creative. I don't want to continue to do the exact same script, but now I've got about 5 different kind of scripts that I just try. I'll try this one for a couple weeks. Then I'll go back to an old one. I always say that to go, I try to have fun with it. I really do. So right now, what I've been doing this week, and I'm going to do it for the next 3 days, I'm recording myself on Zoom while I make calls because this coming Monday, instead of me interviewing someone, Clarke, I'm going to play a bunch of my live calls that I made. So
Oh, great.
instead of me having to be in front of 30 people looking at me making the call, that's already hard enough, right? I'm zoomed by myself on speakerphone and letting them hear it. And then I'm going to go find 3 or 4 appointments that I've set and I'm going to play them on the recording with my group. And then we're going to do Q&A. What could I have done different? That kind of thing, go back and forth. So to kind of change up my Mondays because I normally interview someone the same way you guys are interviewing me. So, and again, very humbled and blessed that you've even asked me to come on. So really, this is for you. Feel free to ask me any kind of questions if you have any. Again, whether we're here to role play, whatever we're here to do, I want to be of value to you guys today and or this evening. So you guys tell me, is there anything I can answer it. You got a question? Are you trying to do something that maybe it's not working real well, or you just want some feedback? Anything like that from anyone? Or have I answered all the questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Sean,
it's excellent.
I
Very,
have
very good.
I have
I
question.
love the
Sean,
way you're scripting and using. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
Okay, Greg. Yeah.
quick question. What video do you send to your prospects?
Here,
The
I'll put
brand,
it.
the three video with brand, or
I have not been doing that. Let me go back to, I'll show you the one I sent. I'll put it in the, it's that 13-minute one right here.
Yeah, with
I've got them all.
that
Yeah.
Eric Orland put together with Attractify. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got the old
Oh,
9-minute. Here's the 13-minute one. You want me to put it in the notes or in the chat?
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead and put it in
please.
the chat. That'd be great.
I mean, I have everything I ever need always in my notes to
Yeah,
text,
me too.
email immediately right there, right? So I'll just put that in chat. You guys probably have access to it, but this to me, it gets the message across, right? Where generally I think it's very well done. It covers everything, does enough on the rev share at the very end, which it seems to intrigue people. And here's what I've learned about attracting now. And I've attracted about probably 85 agents. I only got, not to let this scare you, I only got 22 FLQAs right now, and I got 37 FLAs, but I've attracted about 85 in 8.5 years. So,
Right.
guys, that's not really but like 10 a year. So, nothing outstanding here. But I try to do what I call build through some people. The moment I know someone really wants this, I really try to do everything I can to engage them in what we're doing on Mondays and Thursdays. My group's all about rev share, and then I'm there to help them with three-way calls, give them everything that we have, give them scripts and all that kind of stuff as well. But that 13-minute video generally does enough where most people are intrigued and will now start asking questions, right? What did you like best about it? And from that point on, according to what they tell me, we just start, answering questions, going down a whole nother path. And then I'll generally, if on the first Zoom, I don't generally bring on a third party. It's the next appointment after that that I'll either do a three-way call or I'll have a third party on for Zoom. Somebody again who can speak that person's language according to whatever it is that they might need or what their pain point might be. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But
Excellent.
anything else, Greg? I mean, that's
Okay.
that's the
No, thank you.
presentation.
Appreciate.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've used that video quite a bit. I had Prince kind of personalize it to Vision Ventures Unlimited too, and I used that quite a bit before Brent came out with the new one.
You somehow had it personalized for you in your team?
Yeah, I had my VA do it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Very, very
he just put an entrance in the beginning of it.
okay.
The video's the same, but rather than saying Attractify at the beginning, it says Vision Ventures Unlimited, which is our company.
That's a good idea. I could ask my VA to do that. I
Yeah,
didn't
I'd
even
like to
think
keep
of
it
that.
personalized and yeah, and I've used that quite a bit actually.
Ask VA to change video. I like it.
Great.
I like it. All right. Anybody else? And anything about any question? Don't
I
know if
think
I'll have the answer, but I'll do my best.
yeah. Well, Sean, this has been really excellent, and also on if you go to I want to say YouTube, you can go back a ways and find Sean Sturrock was on with Sean Kokosta and also with GoGo. And I have both of those that I've used many times and sent it to agents when they got started who were interested in agent attraction because you really went through the scripts just like what you did now, but you went through the scripts and especially one with Sean Kokoska a couple years ago.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. Was he role playing with me? I
Yeah,
can't
I was
remember.
role playing with you, and
Yeah,
it was excellent, and
yeah.
it's still out there in on YouTube. You can just
Ah,
just type in Sean Sturrock. I want to say it's November 2 years ago.
yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was excellent. And what I like to do, I'm going to share my screen, Sean. I just want to run through a couple things.
Okay.
And let me go here. There we go. Find it here. Oh, it's not up. I've got my PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, it's not finding my PowerPoint. Okay. Hang on a second. I got to queue it up. Okay, and then go
How
to
long you guys been doing this, Clark? Where you interview somebody on a Tuesday?
Um, Actually, our inner circle just started a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of took the cue from Brent, and he does an inner circle, and so we do our inner circle, and then I have a smaller group. We do an accelerate call. Uh, let's see here. Oh, got it. There we go. Okay.
So somebody wanted me to drop these scripts in, and a lot of this stuff that's at the bottom,
Yeah, please.
I'll
Yeah,
copy and paste. Um, so
that
again,
would be
some of it,
great.
yeah. Anyway, you'll be able to tell as you read through it. All of it doesn't flow together. Sometimes it's just me having something to remember, and or some scripts tied to another script. But I'll put two of these in here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do too. I have them all tied together. I actually have them printed out too, so I can read them right in front of me when I'm on the phone. But so I just want to go over a couple things, just a little bit of recap from eXpCon, just a couple things, and I think this they went over it on the big agent meeting last Friday. But we have Mira. Mira is a very cool AI tool that will tell you everything about your business. I was using it a little bit earlier today, and it says, "Well, how much production has my total team done, including all our group?" For the first year to date, and it gave me all the figures. I mean, it's very cool. We launched sports and entertainment, and because we launched sports and entertainment, we, as I mentioned earlier, signed up a person who's a coach and getting his license, and under Ames Sabaleno, who you know, and just and very fired up about it. You can do a placeholder agreement. It's an addendum to the joint app. They actually have it right in the joint app now. So you just click on there. Do you plan to sponsor somebody before you transfer your license? You click on that, and it pops up the forum now, and you can get somebody started that way. Somebody who wants to lean towards agent attraction. The EXP Hub, very excited about this. This is going to replace Slack because I know a lot of people have had issues with Slack. It's now in kind of the beta phase. But you can go to hub.exprealty.com and sign up. I highly recommend to sign up and start playing around with it. Everything is it to kind of give you an idea. It's more like Facebook or more like Workplace was. Much easier. You can have groups and everything. Then Canva, very cool. You can actually have your own company branding kind of a section in Canva now. And so that's a new advancement or enhancement. And then the AI Accelerator, eXp University. I mean, just what they're doing with eXp University is phenomenal. I mean, people come in here as a new agent and see what we have from education training, and it costs nothing. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And then the eXp Con is going to be in several locations next year. We actually have Cape Town, South Africa. Actually, we have a couple agents who are going to be going there, and that's in February this year. We have the one in North America is going to be in Salt Lake City, much easier to get to. And so definitely great for bringing guests. So that you can take advantage of that. And then we have the global referral platform now, and they're opening up three new countries: Romania, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. They just opened up Korea and Japan, which is powerful. I mean, this is expanding like crazy. And you know why? Because Glenn Sanford took over international. He became the chief growth officer about a year ago, and when Leo became the CEO, and he has just taken it, and he is literally a genius. I mean, just amazing his technology. Incidentally, he built the EXP Hub himself. He built it himself, took 2 weeks and built it himself to kind of give you an idea. He's way beyond me. Yeah, put it that way. And then we have Cabo 26 coming up, and we got an amazing lineup. You got Pace Morby, Tom Ferry, you got Gary and Sage Brecca. They just started the new VIP ticket application to it. So I mean, just it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I definitely want to get pre-registered for that. You don't want to be, you want to be at the host hotel. Number one, it's the best hotel there. But because we had several people who did late registrations after the first year, and they were not able to get into the host hotel. And then on a weekly basis, obviously we have the Zoom trainings with Brent, all different aspects, and then we have the team huddle Our next team huddle will be on November 4th, just next Tuesday. And we got a lot of things we're going to go over from eXpCon. And this is for everybody in the organization. And then, so you don't want to miss this one coming up. And then, of course, just want to remind you, I have had so much, what do you call it, conversion using Brent Gove's video, all three aspects of it. So it's www.themodelexplained.com. I know everybody on this call has probably watched it. But now, if you scroll down to the bottom, it has all three of them together. So you don't have to go to step 2, step 3, all three of them together. That just is a recent thing. Last Friday, I think he put that in place. And then this is my agent attraction site. So you can utilize this site, and this also has the funnel pilots on it also. So you can go down there, Jake Hinder and the funnel pilots, and so it's just a really good site to utilize. Also, my VA will, or our VA will customize it to you. When you really are on track with your agent attraction, we can, kind of co-brand it for you. And then just kind of wrap up, man. We call this TNT, today, not tomorrow. But today is your opportunity to build your future tomorrow. This is the time. There's never, they say that, there's certain periods of time in this business where we have huge waves of growth. Obviously, when Brent kind of created the original wave of growth back in 2016, they carried us all the way until 2020, 2021, 2022. We're about ready for the next wave. To give you a case in point, at eXpCon was the largest real estate gathering of any real estate company this year, and 40% of them had 40% of the 4,700 people they had at eXpCon were their first time attendees at an eXpCon. That is a huge indicator. So I say that to say this: when do you start paddling? When the wave is coming. You paddle before the wave is there. This is the time to start paddling. It's just a swell out in the ocean right now. This is the time to paddle. John Maxwell says, when the opportunity is here, it's too late to prepare. You got to do it now. And just go in faith. Every top leader, is saying the wave is coming. Brent says the wave is coming. Gene Fredericks, Elizabeth Riley, Cliff Freeman, all these people are saying the wave is coming, and it's coming, and it's coming big. And so I believe it's going to go from where we're at now to 100,000 agents to 250,000 in the next 5 years. What portion of that do you want to claim? What portion of that do you want to have in your organization? All it is put in a little bit of hard work, just like what Sean was saying, just carve out that 30 minutes to start off with and up to an hour every single day during your production and everything like that. You're going to be meeting agents. If you're in top in production, you're going to be meeting agents. This is the time to flat go for it. And so our vision in this organization, we're going to be 1,000, 1,000 agents over the next, by 2017 or 17, that's already passed. 2027, we'll be 1,000 agents. Our goal is to get to 10,000. And that's going to be over this next 5 to 10 years. We can do it. It just takes, the first 20 is the most difficult, then the 50. When you get to 100 is when it starts multiplying, when you start really getting good duplication, and we're at that point. So I love this, making real estate fun. The mantra, or I should say the theme for our organization is join us, have fun, make money, make a difference. There's never been an opportunity, incidentally, that I've seen, aside from a couple others I've been involved in, where you can have as much fun, make as much money, and most importantly, make so much different in other people's lives. I mean, how many real estate companies do agents say it changed my life? None outside of eXp. Absolutely none. So you are in the right place at the right time with the right people, heading the right direction. And it was great to have you on the call tonight. And Sean, thank you very much. Really do appreciate you investing the time, sowing seeds into our business. And hey, if there's anything at all that I can do for you in any time, or our organization, we're really well connected. Let us know. We're there for you.
Well, let me say this. You guys have a phenomenal leader. Clarke, you're awesome, bro. I can
Thanks,
tell
man.
you've got a lot of personal development, a lot of great skills. The verbiage is in there from all that personal development. So it is funny when you take in personal development consistently, it'll begin to kind of ooze out of you, flow out of you, and it will definitely help for you to keep your goals intact and go after them and stay consistent. But you need
Yeah.
to continue to read. Like I just started reading yesterday. I just ordered it, but when the moment you order, what is it, Be a Legend? Or yeah, what's his new book?
Oh yeah, the Gene Fredericks.
Yeah, I just ordered it. And the moment I ordered, I'm waiting for it to be shipped here. It's gonna be like 2 or 3 weeks, but it's available on Kindle. So I
Right.
just pulled up my lap, yeah, and start going through it. So just that'd be one thing I'd leave each one of you with. At least 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, whether you're a believer and you start with the Bible, but somewhere along the line, bring in some personal development. I always say start off your day. Find 15 minutes right before you
Yeah.
because sometimes it just fuels you up, gives you that courage, raises up your belief level, and just makes it easier to go about your day. So that's what I'll leave you guys with. Again, honored to have had been on your show. You guys are doing some
Yeah.
big things. Clarke, thank you for coming on mine. I sincerely
You bet.
appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
And I will definitely reach out. You already gave me a couple of the pointers I wasn't aware of. So thank you, my friend. I
Yeah,
really
reach out anytime. I mean, yeah, that's the beauty about what we're a part of, the collaboration and everybody willing to share their playbook. And that's just I don't know where that exists. So very
exactly.
cool.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys.
All
Sincerely
right. Thanks
appreciate it.
everybody. We'll see y'all later.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Have a blessed
Sean.
week. You got it. Thank you, gang.
All right. Great to have you all on. And hey, we'll see you on the team huddle next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock.